Hello, I'm here to show you a new version of Steve's Factory Manager. It was quite some time ago I had the opportunity to say that. Well, this is in 1.7 by the way, so if you didn't know that, Steve's Factory Manager is now in 1.7. Might still be a bit buggy, but it's there and that's where I'm developing, so this new feature is for 1.7 only. There's no way I'm going to support two versions at the same time. Of course, you can still play the old versions in 1.6, that's totally fine. Right, so this thing here, we have a small setup here, one manager, 6 cables and 2 chests. So if we want to select a specific chest here, it's going to be a bit of a trouble. Because, well, we can configure it by looking for the coordinate and things like that, or just test it too and see what happens. But we can't do it with a distance from the manager to the chest, and we can't do it like the cable length and so on, because I've set it up so it's going to be exactly the same, and the type of the thing is the same. Both are chests. We don't have a chest in a furnace, so you can do it, but it's a bit annoying, like check for coordinates and stuff like that. However, we have an update, so obviously something has changed. So if we open up anything with the container, well, a set of containers like this one, where you have to select inventory. So if you want to select redstone emitters or camouflage blocks or whatever, if you want to, well, if you're supposed to select containers of any type, then this new feature applies. Okay, so now if I move over here, we see the same old thing, apart from the fact that it says hold shift for more info. Well, don't mind if I do. Let's hold shift and oh, there we go. Right, so now we can actually see the adjacent blocks to this chest. At the moment they are exactly the same, so that's not really going to help us. But what if I want to select this this chest? Well, there you go, and that's everything we have to do. Oh, that's that one, because, well, I can see the red wool there, I can't see it there. If I want, then I can just remove that and then I'm done. Of course, I can mark my chests. I can do like this, for instance. And then if I go back here, I can see that there's a red wool there and a green wool there. And this works with every single block. As you can see, both of these have a grass block. That's the grass block below them. And they also have a cable block. And that's the cable block they are connected to. And you can do this on the other sides as well. So we could do like, right, this one is marked with 2 green and 1 red, while this is marked with 2 red and 1 green if you have a ton of chests. So there you go, like that, while that one is like that. Right, so as you can see in the bottom it says click to lock tooltip. So now it was a bit crazy before. We were actually drawing images within the mouse over effects. Usually it's just text. We had images. But if I click, I'm not going to select it. Normally when you click you select it or deselect it. But if I hold shift while doing it, when you click, you're going to lock the tooltip. What this means is that even if I move the mouse, it's going to stay in its place. What this means is that I can move the mouse on top of the tooltip itself to get another tooltip within the tooltip. This is not super useful all the time, but if you want to see which side of these are, so you get the south, west, north, east, so those are the blocks around it, whereas this is one on top of it, and that's the one below it. And this has no name because, well, there's nothing there. That means that, you have air blocks there, or well, one air block there. And you can also see the names here if you don't know what all of these things are, like that. And yeah, it's not super useful, but it's quite useful if you don't know what a block is and if you get unsure about the signs and so on. But more often than not, I would assume that, well, I haven't used this in survival yet, but I would assume what you want to do is just hold shift and go through like this and see what type of blocks you can see, because that's going to be the well, a very quick visual feedback on which chest or whatever, which container is which. So you can just place blocks nearby, temporary if you want to, permanent if you want to, and then you can easily find them while looking for them like this. However, this is not everything. I have a sign in my hotbar here. So let's place down a sign there. And if I do that, well, nothing special is really going to happen, is it? I'm going to have a sign there, and it's a sign. Right. But you might guess what's going on here. If I actually do it and type some text, for instance gold, then if I do that again, we will have a different effect altogether. I need to do the lock there, and then it says gold in the tooltip. So while it's semi-useful to lock the tooltip, usually it becomes much more useful if you want to work with signs, because then you can go and check what these are actually named, well, what the sign actually says, rather than just looking at a sign. You can do that on all sides, so I can do that here as well, and you can do it in different lines as well. So I just wrote 1 to 4 there, and if we go back in here, we can check this sign here is still gold, while this one has the numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4 listed like that. And I didn't mention that, but as it says release, shift, or click to unlock tooltips, I can just release the shift key. You can't see that, but I released the shift key and it disappeared. And the other option is if I hold shift, I can click to lock, and then if I click again, I unlock it like that. So if I just hold my mouse still there, it's going to blink back and forth, but if I move it, you can see that it actually jumps there like that. So that's pretty much what this update is. This is pretty much the feature that has been requested for the longest time, pretty much since the mod was released. It wasn't suggested like this because nobody had a good solution to the problem, and I believe this is a very good solution. You don't have to have any items that you mark them with. You don't have to have it specifically for a manager, so you don't have to bind it in a manager. You don't have to have special cables here to select it with, and you don't have to go into the interface here to name them and try to find them first just to name them and things like that. The downsides, well, there are always downsides, but the downsides are, of course, that you need to, if you want to take a look and like more information, you have to do like double tooltips like this, and you need to hold shift. And yeah, I don't really see them as downsides, really. You can get simple information like that, or if you really want to, you can even use signs to get full information like I just showed. So that's that. I hope you find this useful, and good luck.